4 huge differences between the Jeep Gladiator Sport S and the Mojave. Which one do you prefer? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotiveJT. So there are 4 huge differences between the Jeep Gladiator Sport S, what I have right back here, and the Jeep Gladiator Mojave, which, by the way, I just took a ride in this morning. So this is fresh in my mind and things that I noticed after driving the Gladiator Mojave. Before we get into that, real quick, if you haven't before, smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. Okay, let's have it. Let's take a look. Because honestly, I had thought about trading my Gladiator Sport S off on the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. And I'll tell you at the end of the video why I didn't and why I'm sticking with the Sport S. So, the 4 huge differences between the Jeep Gladiator Sport S and Mojave. Number 1, something I noticed right away, and that is the height. You know, as I was out driving around this morning, it occurred to me that the Gladiator Mojave felt a little bit different. And then I discovered, and this was like this, I mean, it was right away. Well, it's because I'm sitting higher up in the air. A different perspective, a different feeling when you're cruising around in the Gladiator Mojave. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just a different thing, particularly if you're coming from a Sport S, as I am, and it's not lifted. If you didn't know, the Gladiator Mojave does come with a bit of a lift. Pair that with the taller tires, and you get up in the air a little bit. Number 2, speaking of tires, the wheels and tires. Gotta say, the Jeep Gladiator Mojave has a much better tire and wheel setup than just the Sport S does. You know, mine came with just the chrome or brushed aluminum alloy, I guess, wheels. Something I really don't like too much. Too similar to chrome for me. Also, the all-terrain regular tires. You know, they're kind of skinny, understated, really don't give you that aggressive look that the Jeep Gladiator deserves. So that's definitely one to check in the yes column for the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Number 3, the feel of it, the comfort of it. How is it driving down the road? Well, I noticed this right away too. It is a heck of a lot stiffer than the Gladiator Sport S. Of course, it's designed that way. It's a desert runner, so you have to have a more stout suspension in order to drive quickly across the sand. You know, you want to be speeding across that sand and absorbing those bumps as you go. So it has a stiffer Fox suspension. Definitely noticeable in comparing the 2 trucks. Gotta say, I do prefer the Sport S in that respect. It just takes the bumps a little bit softer on the pavement, and I'm not hitting every time I go over anything. Another area I noticed when we're talking about stiffness is the steering. The Jeep Gladiator Mojave definitely has a firmer steer feel to it than the Gladiator Sport S. Notice this right away. It's not such a bad thing. This really kind of depends on what you've gotten used to, I think. I can certainly get used to that crispier, more firm steering feel that the Jeep Gladiator Mojave has. But at the moment, I do prefer the Sport S. So I'm gonna have to put a check over in the Sport S box. Number 4, appearance. You know, the Jeep Gladiator Mojave looks awesome. I love the looks of the truck, its stance, some of the colors that are out there. You know, the one I drove this morning, my mother's actually, it's in that schnozberry red color. And man, does that pop on the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Love that color. Would love to have it on the current one that I have, which is white, by the way. I did have the Gobi color before, and I gotta say, the thing that I miss most about the previous Gladiator I had, which was a Sport S2, so they're basically the same truck, but that color. I really did like that Gobi color. It was really sharp. The Snazberry, same kind of thing. It's just an eye-catching, popping color when you're walking up to that truck. Now, there is one thing about the Mojave that turns me off a little bit, and that's the hood. The hood kind of comes up a little bit, kind of like a great big giant hood scoop, even though it's not a hood scoop. It's just the design of the truck. It's probably because I'm more used to the Sport S. I don't have that. My hood is basically flat, so I don't have to look over anything when I'm driving. I find when I'm in the Gladiator Mojave, I'm always kind of concentrating on that hood when I really should be looking at what's beyond it. But I catch myself looking at the hood because it's there, it's up, and it's different than what I'm used to driving. Am I a fan of it? You know, it looks good from the outside. Gotta say, I do love the appearance of it, but I don't care for it from a driver's perspective. I would rather have that flat hood without that bump in the middle. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for me. So I guess I'd put a check mark in both columns. So if you've been keeping track, we're kind of tied right now. So it goes back to which one do I prefer? Gotta say, from a drivability standpoint, and this is the only reason I prefer the Sport S. I just like its softer ride, its smoother handling, it's a little bit more loosey-goosey in the steering, but I've gotten used to that and I kind of like it. You know, the Mojave, when you're driving it, kind of feels like you kind of have to baby it. You kind of have to pay attention to it because it's a little more sensitive too. When you turn the wheel a little bit, you're going to turn the truck a little bit. I prefer that more laid back feel of the Gladiator Sport S. And I think that's really the difference between the two. The Jeep Gladiator Sport S is going to give you a more laid back driving feeling. And the Jeep Gladiator Mojave is going to give you a more connected feeling, which makes a lot of sense to me. Obviously, if you can feel the road more and you have to have or pay attention to the input that you have to provide in the steering wheel, it's going to be something that requires more of your attention. I guess when I'm out driving around in my Jeep Gladiator, I just kind of want to relax and enjoy the truck. I don't want to be quite as connected as you have to be when you're driving around in the Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Anyway, 4 huge differences between the Jeep Gladiator Sport S and the Mojave. Leave a comment, let me know. Do you notice these things? Or maybe the Mojave is the only one you've ever had, so you don't have anything to compare it to. I'd be curious to know. Also, if you didn't in the beginning, make sure you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about my 2021 Toyota Tacoma, and Rob Motive FST, all about full-size trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.